Nothing in our planning strategy had ever prepared us for such a dramatic change in how we deliver our work to those in prisons, their families and those released. Coronavirus took us all by surprise and left us feeling unsure about many things: our health, that of our families, going shopping and even our employment. There was no less the case for those we support in Prison Fellowship. All the face-to-face visits in prison programmes, etc. were suspended. Law and justice as we knew it had stopped. Courts stopped hearing all but essential cases, and those that were conducted were held by video link. Those entering the prisons were quarantined for up to 14 days with limited contact with other prisoners. No physical family visits were permitted, and new means of contact had to be arranged. During this time, many of us experienced what it was like to lose our personal freedom. Lock up, away from family and friends, unable to freely go and visit when we wished or where we wished, was something we all had taken for granted, and now was no longer possible. As you recall the challenges you had during this pandemic, allow this experience to help you understand what it must be like to be cut off from family and friends and regular daily routines. To lose your personal freedom is maybe a little easier to visualise in light of COVID-19. Recall how important that telephone call, that Zoom call, letter or card was. Those in our prisons face this isolation, being cut off from family and friends on a daily basis. These new challenges presented us with the need to come up with a different approach. New solutions to physical visits were replaced with virtual call conversations or telephone calls. It was and remains imperative that we continue to reach out to those who, despite COVID restrictions easing, will continue to experience fear, uncertainty, loneliness and isolation. We continue to receive new referrals and contacts from inside and outside of our prisons, and we endeavour to follow up contact with them by means of technology or socially distanced visits. As we come to remember law and justice during this week of prayer, I invite you to pray for those who continue to struggle with very little human contact during lockdown, especially those who had no regular family visits. Pray for PF staff and volunteers as they await permission to recommence regular visits in our prisons. Give thanks for inmates who would not normally have been able to have physical visits with families due to distance or health issues, but due to the technology have been able to maintain some contact during lockdown, especially for families living overseas. And pray for our prison families and our prison staff who are working in our prisons, that they will remain COVID-free and healthy. I'm reminded of Psalm 91 that says, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in Him I will trust. Surely He will deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence. He shall cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you shall take refuge."